It's hard not to be angry and disgusted when you hear what Tegan Wagner has endured. When she was 14, she was attacked at a party and gang raped. It was a horrible, humiliating assault, and she quite rightly wanted justice. Tegan demanded the perpetrators of the crime be held accountable, and to do that she put her faith in our legal system. But she says what was to come was as bad as the rapes. The teenager felt attacked all over again by defence lawyers whose brutal cross-examination of her in court lasted 3 harrowing days. To win the case and free their clients, the barristers tried to destroy Tegan Wagner's reputation. What they didn't count on was her unshakable courage.
To this day, I can't, on camera, say their names. I know their names, but I cannot tell you their names because there is a legal bit of paperwork that says I have to shut up. So, I'm going to tell you who the victim is. Hi, my name's Tegan, and this is what the other side looks like.
"29-year-old Tegan Wagner was just 14 when she was gang raped. Today, she's returning to the court where she sought justice against the 3 brothers who attacked her. How are you feeling about going back in?
I'm actually getting really, like my heart's beating really fast. And I can't tell you why, but it is.
Entering courtroom 3 in Sydney's Supreme Court leaves Tegan just as raw and exposed today as she was during the harrowing trial. Are you okay reliving this?
Yeah, I am. It's just interesting. I don't know, I feel like they're there and they're not there. Like I feel like I could just see everything as it was. I can see everybody sitting in these chairs, the ones that were empty, the ones that weren't. It's really weird. But this is what I remember. This is crystal clear in my memory because this is where a lot of the actual trauma happened.
You put your right hand on his left thigh and began to stroke it. Seeking to blame others for your own actions, weren't you, Miss Wagner?
No one was telling you to keep on drinking, were they? And then you started fondling each other, trying to get each other...
For 3 days, Tegan sat in the stand, cross-examined by a defence team of 3 barristers.
You were flirting with him. But you were quite...
In that time, the teenage rape victim would face nearly 2,000 questions.
You weren't worried about anything. You were enjoying yourself.
For reasons of good taste, many of those questions can't be repeated here. It's hard to believe they were ever asked of a schoolgirl.
You laid back down on the bed and you had sexual intercourse.
Yeah, that's what I get the most emotion when I'm standing here because this was the 3 days of hell. This is where you get made to feel raped again because you've got to go through it. Now you're being told that you lied about it, that it didn't happen, that you as a person must be some sort of Jezebel because you put yourself in this situation.
As the teenage Tegan told police at the time, she and her friends had been invited to a party at the brothers' home.
First they took us to shopping centres and liquor stores so we could get like stuff.
What she didn't know was that she was now at the mercy of the Ashfield gang rapists, who were notorious for raping girls at knife point.
I got scared. I just couldn't fight back. I couldn't do anything because if I did, I thought I'd get killed.
It was 2002, and back then Tegan had never been kissed, had never before drunk alcohol.
After I left the bathroom, that's when things took a turn. And I was taken into a bedroom by one of the boys.
So in that bedroom, that man raped you?
I was saying stop, I was saying no, but I couldn't do anything. Then the next guy came in And I sat up on the bed and he pushed me back down. And then I said, no, I didn't want to do anything. But then he started raping me, and then he left the room, and I tried to get up, and I found my underwear, and I tried to put my underwear back on and leave the room. And that's when the last one that got found not guilty came in. And he pushed me back down onto the bed, and I got back up again. And then he slapped me across the face and said, I'm gonna stab you. Do you want me to stab you? Do you want me to stab you? And I said, I don't want you to stab me. I don't want you to stab me. Then he started raping me on the couch.
But 4 years later, when the case finally came to trial, it was Tegan who had to withstand brutal cross-examination.
No one questioned them. They didn't spend 3 days here. I would have loved that if they sat in this chair and I got to get up and cross-examine them, because then I would have been able to turn around and say, you raped me. Admit it. I said no, and you know I said no. But I didn't get to do that. Instead, I sat here while they said I was a slut.
Yes, I remember remarking to a barrister in a case. I think I was being quite mean to him. I said, I don't know how you sleep at night. He said, on a very expensive mattress after a very good bottle of red. It becomes a cruel game, a cruel game against victims. And the whole system is about the rights of the accused.
For 25 years, Robin Cottrell-Jones has seen that cruel game at play.
I'm okay.
Good, come on in.
And as head of Vocal, the Victims of Crime Assistance League, many times she's had to pick up the pieces after lengthy delays and invasive questioning have all but destroyed the rape victim.
Why is it that lawyers and police would never put their own children through this system?
You don't think police and lawyers would put their own children through it?
People who know the system would never do it.
Is it enough of a defence for the defence lawyers to say, well, sometimes there are lies being told by the complainant and we must test those?
Absolutely. You know, they have to be tested, but they can be tested in a reasonable way. I don't want one innocent person ever put away. But I know there's an awful lot of people who are sex offenders wandering around our streets committing crimes.
Because the system
Absolutely.
Makes it easier for them to be acquitted than convicted.
It does indeed. It does indeed.
And sometimes, as a recent Victorian case starkly proves, the process can be so tortuous the victim can't even go through with the trial. 14-year-old Amy says she was raped by 3 brothers. They were committed to stand trial where they pleaded not guilty to multiple rape charges. Wishing to protect her anonymity, Amy made her only public statements in a letter she penned to the Age newspaper.
After the initial shock, I knew I wanted to see justice served. But being 14 at the time, I was so naive about how the legal system worked. I definitely knew it wouldn't be easy, but it turned out to be one of the most horrible and traumatic times ever.
As time dragged on, appearing in court numerous times,
I felt so out of place, so uncomfortable. I felt so intimidated.
and about to start her final year of school, Amy pulled out of the trial, and the rape charges against the 3 brothers were withdrawn.
After about more than a year of lawyers and police meetings, it became obvious this trial could continue for years. I had my future to think about. If the legal system didn't make things
so hard for girls like me, our society would be a much safer place. And that's very true. She didn't ask to be raped. She didn't ask for these people to attack her, but she did ask for help and didn't get it. So our system needs to be rethought.
Traditionally, cross-examination is leading questions, confusing a witness, perhaps becoming quite angry with them, putting to them that they've lied.
Rarely do judges reveal the inner workings of the courts, But specialist District Court Judge Kate Trail is happy to expose the worst of a system where the chances of a sex offender being let off have risen, not fallen. The complaint has been that for many victims, they feel like they're the accused, that they feel like the enemy of the court, really.
If I believe they are being attacked, we stop the cross-examination, have a break, and they ask questions in a different manner.
Her Honour is implementing a 3-year pilot program in New South Wales, which is prosecuting child sexual assault cases in a completely different way.
It's much less confronting for them.
The aim of the pilot is to make the gathering of evidence easier and the process more child-friendly. Under this system, children are still cross-examined, but only in a pre-record and in a room away from the court. And for the first time, barristers' questions are vetted, rewritten and explained, if necessary, by an intermediary. This is all done within 2 months of the allegation. And even if the case then takes longer to get to trial, the child never has to appear in the courtroom, never has to confront their attacker, or be played by defence barristers trying to win over a jury. Why was there a need for the pilot program?
Because of what happened to Tegan, and because I think fundamentally our criminal justice system was designed for adults, and in the past children may not have been believed, but now many more children are coming forward, and now we need to design a system that fits to the child, and that's what we're doing.
I think if people could see what happens in this room, they would be horrified. It's just disgusting. It makes you feel dirty, it makes you feel shameful. You wonder why you came here in the first place.
After successfully delaying it 9 times, the trial against Tegan's attackers started 4 years after they'd raped her. The court found 2 of the 3 brothers guilty, though all 3 were convicted of raping other girls.
I felt great that it's finally over. I felt great that they're actually going to be put behind bars and stuff.
While elated it was over, in the years since, Tegan has continued to feel the personal cost of the sacrifice she made. Foremost, failing her HSC to attend court to see justice done. Because in the end, she feels the greatest injustice was done to her. Did you feel that the court appreciated you standing up against these men?
No, I don't actually. Everything about you is being told that you're wrong, that you're the liar, that you're the one that did the wrong thing here. You're dragging these poor innocent boys through court. You horrible woman. That's how you feel. When it's really, you guys raped me and wrecked my life. And I'm just here to try and tell you that you did the wrong thing, and at least tell you that you're not going to ruin me, but in a weird way it kind of did.